this is a poem about when men say sometimes that feminist stuff or whatever doesn't mention men enough. Dear Mr. Feminist, I feel sad, and before I say this, let me tell you, I'm not a lad. I'm being as frank and honest and polite as I can. I'm just your average liberal modern day man. So listen sharply to what I'm about to say. I started a course in gender studies today. All lecture long we were talking about women. And I'm not saying the conversation wasn't fulfilling, but here's the thing, there was something missing from that discussion. Now just hear me out. What about the men? What about me? Don't we also have a history? And it seems to me that gender studies should be about both genders, don't you see? I feel silenced, I feel irrelevant, totally invisible and without sentiment. So Mr. Feminist, what should I do? I want to be discussed, critiqued and talked about too. Dear Mr. Reader, thank you for your request. Let's start with that history that you say you possess. 2,000 years of building a culture, art, war, science, language and sculpture, all made by men, and through words and by pen these things fall down to us like now as was then, in folklore, tradition and fairy tales, kings and philosophers, all of them males, mankind, the layman, the workmen at hand, the prophets, the authors, even God is a man. And then one year there start to appear these women who are remarking, what the fuck is happening here? Then you know the rest, some people protest, suffrage, the vote, these things we won't contest. Finally there is for women a voice, for education, liberty and being pro-choice, careers, sex, short hair and trousers, travels and lesbians and cash cards and flowers and coffee and workouts and leg hair and tears, and all of this in the space of like 60 years. But wait, what's this I can hear? It's the tiny, irrelevant voice of a man, so sincere, saying, I feel silenced, I feel irrelevant, totally invisible and without sentiment. Well, my dear fellow, you may feel dejected. But if you want my advice, get some perspective. The discussion of women has only just begun. Comparatively speaking, the male song has been sung. And if your gender studies course is so important to you, as a man, sit down, engage, and you may learn a thing or two.